Welcome back, Jimmy Davidson, CEO of Motion Mentors, and this is a video series about getting parkour gyms to their next level of profitability and impact. In this one, we're talking about the 3 levels that we have noticed many parkour gyms falling into. So I'm going to start with level 1 and work my way up to level 3. And ideally, you find that you are in one of these sections. Maybe you have a foot in between level 1 and 2 or level 2 and 3. And something in here will resonate and give you a clue as to what to solve to get your business to its next level. Okay, so jumping in, and this is all in the PDF. And if you don't yet have the PDF, you can download it right now in the video down below. Okay, a gym on level 1. So I remember being here personally as a parkour gym owner, and it really did feel like survival mode. Gyms in this category are typically doing $20,000 in monthly revenue or less. I remember when I was just doing like $9,000 in monthly revenue. So if you are there anywhere in here, like all good. Everyone has to start and move your way through this. Most teams have the owner doing quite a lot. Owner's probably coaching, maybe you have 1 to 3 part-time coaches helping you, but the owner in this case is generally doing much of the heavy lifting. Usually under 100 members, we see a lot of gyms between 50 to 80 in this space. Possibly you're creeping up towards 150, but that is pretty rare for level 1 gyms. Profit is minimal. Most gyms in this category are breaking even or losing money. Kind of depends on how much the owner is doing. If the owner is doing a lot, and then you're just considering that work that the owner is doing as like profit, even though it should really be considered as salary for the gym owner, the gym could be breaking even or losing money, and in some cases maybe making $3,000-ish, which isn't good, I would say. At this stage, what's holding you back is you're relying on that people walk in, you're relying on that people just magically find you. I remember when I built my parkour gym, I had no marketing, really kind of nothing. And I had a, if I build it, they will come mentality. And some people came because parkour is somewhat rare and they searched me, but generally I was making like 1, 2, 3, or 4 sales a month. Right. So very slow. Basically, no one knew about me. We had no way to manage the leads when they did find us. So we didn't have a sales CRM. There was no one reaching out and calling people. And we basically, gym owners at this level don't necessarily have their hands on the wheel of growing your gym on purpose. A lot of it's, hopeful thinking. Trial classes often aren't systematized and they're not connected with a process that brings in a new lead, delivers a specific and scripted trial class, and then hand delivers them back to someone there to actually sell them, a sales team member. Oftentimes a highly choreographed process is missing, and we're just hoping that kids have a good time, and then we're hoping that they sign up either at the desk or online at some point in the future. So that's often a big piece missing. And the number one piece that we have noticed be missing consistently at level 1 parkour gyms is the pricing. Pricing is usually between like $80, maybe up to $130 a month. And at those levels, it's very hard to be profitable at the per member level. So even if you got another 10, 15, 20 members today, the profitability per each member is so small that it actually wouldn't make that big of a difference to your business. So pricing is a big thing that we at Motion Mentors help parkour gym owners improve and get to that next level. And a lot of times, just fixing pricing opens up the floodgates for everything else that the business at that stage needs. But later on, we're going to talk about pricing specifically, so I will digress on that. The opportunity here is installing a proper lead generation system, getting a sales CRM, and fixing your pricing. Once your pricing is fixed, and then you are possibly running ads, or you're doing something specific and on purpose to get leads, and then you are contacting those leads and purposefully getting them into a trial class and then selling them. Once you've kind of put in those basic business requirements, a lot of times level 1 gyms just instantly move up to the next level, or they get there after a few months of these systems operating and revving. Okay, so that's how I would categorize a level 1 business. A level 2 parkour gym business. At this level, revenue is sometimes between $20,000 and $40,000. Your team, you have a handful of coaches. Maybe now you have a front desk person, And that front desk person is sort of a jack of many trades. They're doing customer service. When that walks up to the front desk, they're handling emails just as they come in. If someone walks up to the desk, they can sell them a membership because they know the system, but they're mostly like holding down the fort at the front desk. They're an administrative person. And I wouldn't quite categorize them as specifically a sales team member. The owner is still doing quite a lot, possibly moving back and forth between coaching side, the back of the house, and front of house, like, messing around with systems and occasionally selling or doing whatever. We see a lot of business owners in this stage get stuck, and the business owner is often just trying a lot of random stuff, but oftentimes is sort of plateaued and staying at the same level for quite a while. And that can be for a few different reasons. Member count, typically we see between 100 and 200 members, and profit is ranging from either losing money up to breaking even and up to hopefully about a $7,000 in profit. And let me be clear, that is still not a great margin for how much work and effort it takes to run a parkour gym. We really want to see these parkour gyms kicking off much more profit than that. And profit is good because when you have profit, you can use it to pay your staff better, pay you, the owner, better, to implement better systems in your business, to have better equipment, to bring in better coaches, have better training for the team. So don't regard profit as just like the thing that the rich person takes away. It really is like the fuel that you can use to build your own career, build people's career that's on your staff, and create a better product for the community that you're trying to serve. Okay, things that are slowing this gym down, there's still not a consistent lead flow. Maybe they're running ads, but they're not scientific. They're not highly studied or put together with like a methodical kind of care. There's not a system to how we're running ads. Maybe it's just like a boosted post here and there. There's probably still not a dedicated sales CRM, and there's probably still not a dedicated staff member working the leads in the CRM. And working the leads means calling them, texting them, emailing them the day that those leads come in, and then doing it every day until those leads activate or ask stop. The acquisition channel is usually missing quite a bit. The owner is usually doing kind of like day-to-day random things. They're still very much involved in the day-to-day processes. It's a split between working in and working on the business, and oftentimes there's a lot of distraction going on. The curriculum for the parkour gym may or may not exist, but the coaches a lot of times are freestyling it, or they're trying to constantly change and tweak it. Curriculum is often a wishy-washy thing at this stage. The opportunity is we want to try to build an engine that is growing the gym. So we do have ads, we do have a team growing the gym. We do have a plan for retention and keeping those members as long as possible, so that when we get a member, they actually stick around for long enough for the gym to experience growth. A big problem also with these gyms at this level is churn. So gyms will be stuck at this level for quite a while without knowing that they have a churn problem. They'll say that, we get 10 to 15 members every single month, but your revenue has been flat for the last 2 years or so. Well, if your revenue is flat and you still have members coming in, then you must have about an equal amount of members leaving at the same rate. So 10 members in, 10 members out, that'll give you a net flat business. Oftentimes, things like that need to be pointed out to the gym owner, and then we have to really zoom in and figure out what is the one thing that we need to fix with this business to get you to the next level. Okay. The next level is a level 3 parkour gym. So gyms in this level have a high amount of potential. They often have many of these components in place and revving pretty well. And sometimes there's just like these little hidden cracks in the business that once those are identified and solved, it'll break the business into its personal next level, whether that's revenue-wise. Sometimes it's profitability. The revenue is there, but the profitability is not. Sometimes the revenue and the profitability are there, but the owner still has to do a lot of work. So then it becomes a game of winning back time for the owner so that the owner can continue to work on the business, maybe expand, or just start to feel like an actual owner, and where they are like a shareholder in a business that is providing them cash. And it's not like a job, a well-paying job, but still a job that they have to show up to every day. All right, so things that categorize a level 3 parkour gym. Revenue could be between $40,000 and $80,000 or more every month. The team looks like you have a general manager who's overseeing most of the day to day. You have a head coach, someone who is responsible for the training, the onboarding, the ongoing quality of the classes for the coaches, and generally the gym curriculum. And then you have a number of coaches, enough coaches, however many that is, to run the day-to-day classes so that the gym owner doesn't have to jump in and coach, but they could if they wanted to, possibly, but they don't have to. That's kind of the key distinction there. And then the person at the front desk, usually at this stage, the person at the front desk does have more of a clear idea of sales. They're no longer just like a glorified secretary. Now they have a more dedicated seat in that I am here for sales and customer service, and my role is to grow the gym and help members. Okay, oftentimes there is a CRM in place at this level, so that the salesperson can actually call, email, all the things for the leads as they come in. Sometimes though, the CRM is still missing at this level. Okay, profit. A lot of times gyms are still losing money or breaking even if they are up in the like higher amounts of revenue. Sometimes payroll is still, out of control. Sometimes the rent is still huge. There can be a few things causing that issue. And then sometimes we have gyms who are in the $10,000 to $15,000 a month profit per month range, and there's still tons of room for improvement on that. Current limitations. Churn is usually still one of the bigger problems here. We want to get churn down to about 5% of monthly churn while charging enough and still onboarding enough new members every month. So that's a kind of like 3 balanced equation. And if we can get churn down, great. And often churn is actually the hardest one to get to our target area. And a lot of times it relies on the culture of the team. And that is not intuitive unless it's something that you've spent a lot of time looking at. So your systems could be all set up and perfect and wonderful, but if your team culture isn't there to actually run the systems, to do the standard operating procedure with a smile and a warmth amongst like how they interact with the members and the clients and the guests in the gym, or even just to other staff members, which, poor culture among staff members absolutely causes a turnover of staff, and you're losing your best people, which can be very expensive. So that culture, identifying what your culture even should be or what you want it to be, making sure it is in line with a gym that is a high performing gym, frankly, is something that you want to own. Like it's a bummer when you have a business that is doing well, but the culture is of a particular flavor that you, the owner, you don't even want to show up because you don't like anyone there. Culture is oftentimes a huge thing holding gyms back at this level. That is like a whole basket of cats. But it's something that we at Motion Mentors help parkour gyms with quite a lot. We have a lot of documentation. We have a lot of practice. We have a lot of hands-on experience helping parkour gym owners get their hands on culture. But that's going to be another section down below. So we'll get to that when we get there. Here's a bonus problem. A bonus problem is that a lot of parkour gyms at this high level, and even in level 2 a bit, is they're not too clear on what kind of a gym they are. They are operating as this like multi-sport facility. And oftentimes it's just whatever the gym owner thinks is cool, they'll roll out into their business. So they might be a parkour gym, or they might be a ninja gym or something, but now they have trampolining, and they have aerial silks, and now they have tumbling, and now they have gymnastics, and now they have tricking, and now they have a fitness program, and now they have, whatever else they want to add. And that's great for fun and for, variety, but for running a business, that can actually make it quite operationally complex, because you have, it muddies how you are marketing, it muddies how you talk to people via your marketing, it muddies the onboarding and the streamlined process of getting new employees and training them up on just like the same curriculum. It requires that you have different experts managing different things and multiple different curricula. And, when a new person shows up to check out the gym, now it's like, well, which program do you want to do? And each program has a different pitch and a different way of operating. So I love seeing when gyms in any of the levels, but especially level three, clarify and narrow it down to my preference is just parkour. My gyms are only parkour. For example, we don't have like a variety of other sports. Um, so it makes it very easy on me. So, all right, those are the three levels of gyms. And as we go through, I hope that you are listening for the things that you're doing well and the things that you could explore to get your gym to the next level. And we'll talk about specific strategies that you can implement today to get to that next level. And of course, if at any point along the way you need help, reach out to us. We are here for it.